How you doing, guys? It's Richie. So I picked this up. Frank Miller's Daredevil Artist Edition. I've not bought an Artist Edition for quite a while. So I got this one real cheap from a guy online. $37, brand new, in the wrapper, in the box. He had a bunch of them for sale also. So if you're looking for artist editions, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was also selling a Walt Simonson Fantastic Four, and there was another artist edition. But I love these, man. These are so much fun. And this is from way back in the day. When I was a kid, I was picking up Daredevil's, the Frank Miller run. Him and Klaus Janson. I mean, this run is responsible for changing comics. You know, before that, it was campy and, you know, this was like real life struck. That, you know, Dark Knight. This came before the Dark Knight. But this was the beginning of the changes in comics. It's a big one too, man. And if you're not familiar with artist editions, these are high-resolution scans from the original art. So, man, this brings back memories. Pulling these books off the rack when you're 10, 11 years old. I must have read this run 100 times. Well, he did not take over the writing duties. Frank Miller just started drawing it. What did he start? 158, was it? I forget. Great looking Hulk. Really nice looking Hulk. And this is Roger McKenzie. Rubenstein was inking this, and Klaus Janson. So right about the same time also, the Wolverine miniseries came out, and that was another one, man. It was just a great time to be a kid. Like I said, a 10, 11-year-old reading comics. So, Arms of the Octopus, I believe this is still, he's not writing. Wow. And this is, you know, early Frank Miller and Klaus Janson teaming up. Great looking Elektra. So we must have jumped ahead to whatever issue this was. What is that? That's 168. So I believe this is the first appearance of Elektra. And yeah, man, look at this. What a great looking eyeball. This was comics, man. Comics were great. Look at all that. What do they call that stuff? I forget what they call that they put on here. It's like that reddish, that old stuff. They said it smelled like it could cause cancer. You know, I forget what the professionals call it. But here, look at this. Another great panel. Elektra taking everybody down. You know, it's very old school, you know, compared to what, you know, sometimes you see today. But this is back in the day. There's no internet. There's no, you know, cell phones to get visuals from. This is just old school artists really cranking it out. And there's a lot of backgrounds in a lot of these. Great looking Bullseye. But it's storytelling, man. Look at the way the story flows. The action. And the anatomy on all these guys. Like, that looks great. That back looks great. And Frank Miller was serious as a heart attack, man. He took this stuff real serious. And he changed the game. Probably hands down my favorite creator all around. I know people get on to him now for those covers he's been doing. You know, those variant covers, they look terrible. But he's been through the ringer. The guy's older now, and obviously he had some health problems. Now, how'd this get past the Comics Code Authority of the time? I wonder how that looks in the printed version. Or maybe they were loosening up. Yeah, so this was what, 82? Yeah, 81, 82. So the code was loosening up. Comic books were 50 cents, 60-cent covers. Like, that's my time. I'll never forget, you know, once a month my father would take me. There was a place called Schiller's in Paramus, New Jersey. It was a bookstore in a mini mall, which is now a mega mall. And he had the whole back wall. This guy had to be a lover of comics. He was tall, skinny, big beard, looked like Jim Henson. And the whole back wall, man, was filled with comics. And it was all Independence, Badger, Nexus, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was all there early on. But I didn't care for any of that. I didn't even like DC then. I was strictly Marvel Comics. Like sometimes my father would be on the road and he'd bring back comics for me. And there'd be Swamp Things in there or what's, and I wouldn't like it, you know. Or whatever the DC flavor of the month was back then. I don't think it was Swamp Thing. It was some other stuff that just didn't interest me. But this was dark, and it would let your imagination run wild when you're young, you know. Great, great, great. Look at this. The ninjas coming after him. I don't think Stick was introduced yet. That must be coming soon. Great. More action with the samurais. I think that Miller had a thing, I guess, with all that samurai stuff. Because even in Wolverine, the miniseries, there was a lot of that. Always fighting ninjas and samurai swords, always. He must have really dug Asian culture or Japanese culture. And the Kingpin. This is when the Kingpin was introduced as a Daredevil villain. You know, before that, he was this big fat guy in Spider-Man. But Frank Miller turned him into like the Godfather, where you knew he was killing people. Wow, look at this. Grabbing him by the throat. This is 176, so we're all the way up there already. Claus Janson signed it. These pages are expensive. See, now we're at Miller's story and art with Janson finished art, so he's probably just laying it out and Janson was finishing it. But together they had that look. And he must have been a pain in the ass to work with, Frank Miller. Perfection, you know. Because online you hear all the stories from the other creators, how he was, and even he himself would tell you. And I believe Claus Janson even would say he was tough, you know. And look at these clouds, man. It almost looks like fingerprints. Like he must have used his thumb to get in there with ink. Man, that's just the way it's open right here and the way it makes her stand out with the city in the background. And those eyes, beautiful work. Man, I wish I had a lot of money. I'd buy these pages up like crazy. This stood out the most of any comic in any era for me growing up. And this is what started my lifelong thrill of comics. My obsession, rather. Look at this. It was way ahead of his time. Is that like an Ani demon? Oh, yeah, Stick's in. So I forget what issue was his first appearance. Stick was a great character. And this extremely famous page. Look at that face. Where they're in the movie theater. Ben Urich, I believe, yeah. And Elektra stabs his friend from behind. And I guess the comics code wouldn't let that poke out, you know? No blood. But what, that's a fantastic page. Look at that. Look at the eyes on that. Man. And the emphasis on that poking through there. And you get the look on his face there. It's just like, whoa, what is happening? I'm in way over my head. And we're not even halfway through this book yet. Sweat dripping down. My name is Ben Urich. I'm a reporter. This is my story. Great lips. Just, this is a trade. These are two tradesmen at work. The inking, Klaus Janson, one of the best. You know, when you always think of inkers, I always think of Tom Palmer, Klaus Janson. It's beautiful work, and Bullseye losing his mind in a cage. All he wants to do is kill Daredevil. Another famous. And this is with the Punisher, right? In prison, he meets him. Or maybe that was before. When the Punisher comes up to him. Yeah, he's already breaking out. And I think, what did he get him with? I forget what he stuffed in his mouth. They let him walk around. Oh, it was the pill. He didn't swallow the pill. They let him walk around in his costume? Man, I would strip him down to nothing. Those hands would be behind his back. Definitely not in the front, but maybe they're attached to a waistband. Wow. I got to break out the run of the comics and read through this again. I got the omnibus with that run. But nothing beats the feel of the original books, you know, on the newsprint paper. The omnibus, the coloring looks weird on the glossy. So you don't get that same feeling. Look at all that hatching in there. Huh. Bullseye lurking around. You know, you want us to snuff who? Loco. That's what you are, Mr. Slaughter. So he's in here. And he's about to take these guys out and start chilling in there. And I always see always wonder, I guess it was pre-press work that they would cut the edges off. Like, look. Man, talk about disrespect to the original art. Look at all of them. Look at this. Look how they chopped this up. And you could see the originals are yellowing already. I could see Frank Miller standing over this with a cigarette in his mouth. Or I don't know if Klaus Janson smoked. Another great face of Elektra. Wow, this was something. Look at the anatomy on here. That looks great. Like, it gives you that feel of she's tired. She's beat up. But it ain't over yet. Now, Bullseye and her are going at it. This is a fight that lasts a few pages. Great action. Thunk catches her with the knee underneath the chin. And now he knows he's got her. Oh. Another famous panel. Probably the most famous Daredevil panel. Poor Elektra. And nice body. Drew her very well. Very feminine. Evil yet feminine. And there she goes. She's stabbed right through the gut. And she crawls to Matt Murdock's. And there's Bullseye watching. Another great panel. And to think they put this out month after month with Jim Shooter breathing down their necks. You know, can you imagine if you would have gave them, this crew, we're going to give you a year to do 48 pages, what they would have done. But then it might not have been as good because this is passion out on the page, man. 100%. Now, Daredevil's not too happy, so he's going straight after Bullseye. And this is where he tricks him to make him think that he's not Matt Murdock. Great. The glass splashing through. Good Guys Wear Red. Remember that movie? What was it? Good Guys Wear Black, Chuck Norris. From the late 70s. Man, Punisher. Looks great. All of it. Miller, scripter, storyteller. Jansen, now Jansen's doing everything. Penciling, inking, and coloring. But it's got that Dark Knight feel to it, you know, the faces. I wonder if he laid these out. He had to. I can't see him just not doing it. Look at that. With the light hitting them through the shades. That looks great. Smart storytelling. Great Kingpin. Beautiful. Fantastic. Wow. That really gives him a sense of weight. That's a large man. And Matt's arguing with, what's his name? Foggy Nelson. And who's this? Always hoping the docs will make some progress on putting her brain back together, always finding out they can't. Huh. And you got some notes on the bottom. Office, letterer, and snap in. I thought I saw this on a video, this page. Maybe David Mandel owns these pages. And he was showing off some pages from his collection. Maybe it was him. I think it was on the Felix Original Art YouTube channel. Where he used to have snippets where he would show parts of people's collections. And I believe these two pages were in somebody's. And these pages must have exchanged hands, you know, dozens of times. And here we are up to 188. And this is, the cover to this is really good. I think it's 188. I have a nice CGC 9/8 with white pages of it. That's perfect. It's that cover with the Black Widow kind of hugging Daredevil from behind, and they're in a spider's web. I think the original, they show it in here. Now he's in a Bacta tank from Star Wars, like healing up. There's Stick. Writer, storyteller, penciler, inker, colorist. What page? This is 189. And we're coming to the end. This is what the ninjas, they team up with. What was it? Stick and Stone? Were those guys that were on Daredevil Stein? I can't remember. Next issue, Resurrection. Uh-oh. They're bringing her back. Oh, here's a prologue. Look at that. Just the female faces, man. Beautiful work. These guys were just made for each other, Miller and Jansen. This is issue 190. Some more to It's blowing the smoke out of his nose. Now I don't even think they'll let you show smoking in a Marvel comic, right? Remember Wolverine used to always smoke cigars. You don't see that anymore. It's like, come on, man. It's just art. Great samurai. And so it ends. Something about her. She is clean. How? It was Murdoch. Someone to revive her. He has purged her. And I am weary. Huh. So she's clean. So they can bring her back. This is a great issue. This was the final issue, I believe, of Frank Miller. This is the roulette with him and Bullseye when he breaks into the hospital room. Look at that. Book 4, Resurrection. Look at that. What do we got under there? Nice. And that's... Then we shoot over to Spider-Man, Electro, Wolverine, Amazing Spider-Man Annual 15, Bizarre Adventures, and the Wolverine miniseries. Cool. Guru Shot. I think Rubenstein was inking the Wolverine miniseries, if I'm not mistaken. And here it comes. This must be from Bizarre Adventures. Blah, blah, blah. This. Here you go. Yep, Joe Rubenstein was doing the inks. Look at that dark black on there. Oof. As he's jumping out, man, I was young. I loved this. I couldn't wait for issue 2, 3, and 4. I remember jonesing for it, and I must have read this 1,000 times. These books disintegrated when I was young. Look at that face. That almost looks like a Japanese demon type. So he was probably heavily into, what do they call manga? I can't get into that stuff. It's just not for me. Here we go with covers. Here's a very famous cover. Miller and McLeod. Another great cover. Miller and Jansen. Miller Jansen. Wow. I have this. I have a very high grade copy of this. Love this cover. And I picked this off the shelf. Not off the shelf. For these issues in 79. I was going to a deli that was right around the corner from my house. Me and my older brother. I was, 7, 8 years old? Great looking covers. Look at that. Was he reading some BDSM? Almost looks like martial law. Wow. This might have been Stick's first issue. Frank Miller. The end. Yeah, that's a famous cover. And this completely ruins it, man. I always hated when there were certain issues that had this. God, I hated that. Here it is. There's the one, 181. So this was 82. Nice. Another great cover. August cover. Thanks clause, it says. Left white and thanks clause. George, explosion is B. I think there should be some B2, B3 on the edges of the cover. Center of explosion. Now this cover was like a bluish, like a sky bluish, if I remember, like a dark sky blue. Another great cover. And I have a nice newsstand issue of that. And like serious 9/8 candidate I have. Here it is. That's the cover. Oh yeah. If I ever see another one in 9/8 again, I'll pick it up. Every time I see it, I'll pick it up. They're affordable. They're probably a little less than $200 for this. In a CGC 9.8 with white pages. But you gotta for me, when books like this, that center has to be aligned perfectly. Like there can't be any of that. I can't have that white edge on the side. Like for some books, I can deal with that. But on books from, Bronze and Copper Age, they have to be perfect for me to spend big money on it. Another cool cover. Here we go. This is fast forward into the future with Sin City style. That looks great. That looks a little wonky to me, that face. Man, this book just keeps on going, huh? And here's the, oh yeah. Oh yeah. 2 and 4. Where's issue 1 and 3? Guess they couldn't find the originals. Spider-Man, worth looking. Looks like markers. Doctor Strange. This was an ad he did. This must have been early on, huh? Wonder what year this was. Doesn't say on the page itself. That might have been before the Daredevil run. Miller and Rubenstein. Daredevil. Elektra. And bam, that's all she wrote. Wow, what a great book. $37, can you beat it? He might even have more of these for sale. But I was like, damn, man, is there something wrong with these books? I was like, you know what, for $37, I'll take a chance. I'll check it out. I can always just send it back. But no, man, it was good. I'm going to have to pick up that Walt Simonson one. Fantastic book. If you like artist editions, this is a must-have for your collection. It's big, it's bulky, you need to put it on a table to read it. Hard to store. I leave them in the boxes that they come with that are nice and tight. But yeah, so that was fun looking through that. And I appreciate anybody who's watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.